Welcome to Hannah's Modern Day Parables. This story is called The Light in Ward 7, a modern day parable. Chapter 1. St. Mary's Hospital never slept. The corridors were always busy. Machines beeped, phones rang, patients arrived, patients left, and sometimes patients died. Sarah had worked there as a nurse for almost 10 years. She loved caring for people. Not because it paid well, not because it was easy, but because she believed every patient was someone's mother, father, son, daughter, husband, or wife. More importantly, she believed every person was precious to God. One Monday morning, Sarah arrived for her shift on Ward 7. The atmosphere felt heavy. Room 12 housed an elderly man named Mr. Henderson. The doctors had done everything they could. His condition was deteriorating rapidly. His family knew the end was near. His wife sat faithfully by his bedside. His children visited daily. Grandchildren came and went. Friends stopped by to pray. At almost any hour of the day, someone was sitting beside him. The family asked questions. Lots of questions. They wanted updates. They wanted reassurance. They wanted understanding. They wanted more time. As Sarah approached the nurse's station, she overheard some of her colleagues talking. There they are again. One nurse sighed. The entire family reunion is back. Another rolled her eyes. I've answered the same question 6 times today. A third laughed. Maybe if they stopped crowding the room, we'd actually get some work done. The others chuckled. Sarah remained silent. A little later, she watched one of the nurses enter Mr. Henderson's room. His daughter stood and asked politely, "Excuse me, could you explain what that medication is for?" The nurse forced a smile. For the same reason it was for 10 minutes ago. The nurse replied. The sarcasm wasn't missed. The daughter sat down quietly, embarrassed, hurt. Sarah felt her heart sink. Later that afternoon, she found her colleagues gathered in the break room. "I think we need to remember what that family is going through," Sarah said gently. One nurse shrugged. "We're all busy. They ask too many questions. They need to accept what's happening." Sarah nodded. "I know we're busy. I know it's difficult. But they're not just losing a patient." The room grew quiet. "They're losing a husband, a father, a grandfather. The questions aren't really about medication." The nurses looked at her. Their questions are grief asking for one more time. More moments to create memories before they have to say goodbye. None of her colleagues responded. They merely sipped their drinks. Some rolled their eyes. Others smirked at Sarah's words, like she had said something amusing. Sarah saw their behaviors, but wasn't shocked by it. She had come to know her colleagues, how they behaved. She just didn't want to adopt their approach in caring for patients. Chapter 2. The Light in Ward 7. Sarah returned to the ward. Inside room 12, Mr. Henderson's wife sat holding his hand. Tears silently rolled down her cheeks. Sarah pulled up a chair. "How are you doing?" she asked softly. The woman shook her head. "I don't know." Sarah listened. She didn't rush. She didn't look at her watch. She simply listened. Over the next few hours, she answered questions, explained procedures, got cups of tea, found extra chairs, offered tissues, held trembling hands, and when words weren't enough, she simply remained present. As evening approached, Mr. Henderson's breathing became slower. The family gathered around his bed. The room was full. Children, grandchildren, tears, memories, love. One of Sarah's colleagues walked past the room and shook her head. "Too many visitors." Sarah looked at her. Then she smiled. "No." The nurse frowned. Sarah replied, "Not enough time." The words lingered. A few hours later, Mr. Henderson peacefully passed away. The room filled with tears. His wife leaned over and kissed his forehead. His daughter sobbed quietly. His son stood silently staring at the floor. Sarah remained with them, not because she had to, because she wanted to. As the family prepared to leave, Mr. Henderson's wife approached her. "Thank you." Sarah smiled. "For what?" The woman wiped her eyes. "For seeing us, Sarah looked confused. The woman continued. Everyone saw a room full of visitors. You saw a family losing someone they loved. Then she hugged her and left. The following morning, Sarah returned for another shift. As she walked into the ward, she noticed something unusual. One of the nurses who had been complaining the day before was sitting at a patient's bedside with the patient's family, listening, answering questions patiently, showing kindness, showing compassion. The nurse noticed Sarah watching. You were right. Sarah smiled. About what? The nurse looked towards the patient's room. We were seeing interruptions. You were seeing people. That day, the atmosphere on the ward felt different. Not because the workload had changed, not because there were fewer patients, but because one person's light shined quietly and began illuminating the darkness around her. The moral of this story: salt preserves what would otherwise decay. Light shines where darkness tries to settle. It is easy to become frustrated, cynical, and indifferent when life becomes busy. It is easy to see people as interruptions instead of opportunities. But followers of Christ are called to be different. We are called to preserve kindness when compassion is fading. We are called to bring hope where grief is present. We are called to shine light where others only see inconvenience. The family in room 12 didn't need perfect answers. They needed someone who cared, a gentle word, a listening ear, and a compassionate heart.
Adapted from the parable of salt and light, Matthew chapter 5, verse 13, for modern day understanding.